From the PEP Radio newsroom, this is the morning news for October 27th, 2025. These are the stories we are covering at this hour. Argentina's Libertarian President Javier Milei won decisive victories in key districts in midterm elections Sunday, clinching a crucial vote of confidence that strengthens his ability to carry out his radical free market experiment with billions of dollars in backing from the Trump administration. Milei's governing La Libertad Avanza party won over 40% of votes in national elections to renew almost half of the lower house of Congress, according to tallies in local media, using numbers from electoral authorities with more than 97% of votes counted. La Libertad Avanza also swept 6 of the 8 provinces in the vote to renew a third of the Senate. The figures exceeded analysts' projections for Sunday's vote. In comparison, the results showed the left-leaning populist opposition movement known as Peronism winning over 31% of the vote, what analysts described as the alliance's poorest performance in years. Turning to U.S. news, a fighter jet and a helicopter based off the aircraft carrier USS Nimitz both crashed into the South China Sea within 30 minutes of each other on Sunday afternoon, the Navy's Pacific Fleet said. The 3 crew members of the MH-60R Seahawk helicopter were rescued, and the 2 aviators in the FA-18F Super Hornet fighter jet ejected and were recovered safely. And all 5 are safe and in stable condition, the fleet said in a statement. The causes of the 2 crashes were under investigation, the statement said. The USS Nimitz is returning to its home port and naval base Kitsap in Washington state after having been deployed to the Middle East for most of the summer as part of the U.S. response to attacks by Yemen's Houthi rebels on commercial shipping. The carrier is on its final deployment before decommissioning. In other news, a 24-year-old Honduran man who was fleeing federal immigration agents in Virginia died on a highway after being struck by a vehicle. The death of Josue Castro Rivera follows recent incidents in which 3 other immigrants in Chicago and California were killed during immigrant enforcement operations under the Trump administration's crackdown. Castro Rivera was headed to a gardening job Thursday when his vehicle was pulled over by Immigration and Customs enforcement officers, brother Henry Castro said. Agents tried to detain Castro Rivera and 3 other passengers, and he fled on foot, tried to cross Interstate 264 in Norfolk, and was fatally struck, according to state and federal authorities. The Department of Homeland Security said Castro Rivera's vehicle was stopped by ICE as part of a targeted intelligence-based operation, and passengers were detained for allegedly living in the country without legal permission. DHS said in a statement that Castro Rivera resisted heavily and fled and died after a passing vehicle struck him. DHS officials did not respond Sunday to requests for further comment. Virginia State Police said officers responded to a report of a vehicle pedestrian crash around 11 a.m. Thursday on eastbound I-264 at the Military Highway interchange. Police said Rivera was hit by a 2002 Ford pickup and was pronounced dead at the scene. The crash remains under investigation. Federal authorities and state police gave him his first name as Jose, but family members said it was Josue. DHS and state police did not explain the discrepancy. Castro called his brother's death an injustice and said he is raising money to transport the body back to Honduras for a funeral. And in Pennsylvania news, gunfire erupted during outdoor festivities at Pennsylvania's Lincoln University late Saturday, killing 1 person and wounding 6 others as students and alumni celebrated homecoming at the historically black school, authorities said. Investigators were operating under a strong belief that there was more than one shooter, but did not think they came to the campus with a specific design to cause a mass casualty event. Chester County District Attorney Christopher de Barrena-Sarobe said Sunday during a news conference. So far, 1 has been jailed on charges of carrying a concealed firearm without a license, and authorities were investigating whether that weapon was used in the shooting, de Barrena-Sarobe said. Authorities said the shooting took place around 9:30 p.m. outside a large building called the International Cultural Center, where tents and tables were set up for tailgating and socializing after a football game earlier in the day. Juwan Jeffers, 25, of Wilmington, Delaware, was shot in the head and died just after midnight, according to the district attorney. The other victims, who range in age from 20 to 25, were expected to survive, but the DA declined to provide individual updates on their conditions. He said they included a current student, a graduate, and 4 people with no direct affiliation to the school. That's the news for this hour. PEP Radio is available on the Live 365 app, the PEP Radio page at paequality.com, Roku, and Alexa. You can also keep updated on news throughout the day by going to the PEP Radio channel on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe while you are there. Coming up next, we have the Meadville area weather forecast here on PEP Radio.